Joe Biden has run this country into the ground. I know President Biden thinks that Santa can solve his problems, but our supply chain is such a mess, not even Santa Claus, with all of his Christmas magic, can fix it. There are nearly 100 ships waiting to dock in California ports. About 40 of them are a few miles off the coast, while more than 50 are holding back further in the Pacific. It looks to me like the Biden administration didn't like the visual. I recently received a letter from my grandmother in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. She's retired now, but was a small business owner who has spent her life working hard to support her kids and grandkids. I have the letter with me. In her letter, she writes, "I'm worried about inflation. I see prices of fuel, groceries, and staples going through the roof. I see the American standard of life declining. It's getting harder and harder for families to make ends meet, buy a home, afford medical care, and higher education for their children." She also tells me that Joe Biden's unconstitutional vaccine mandate is putting her husband at risk of losing his job, despite the fact that he worked throughout the pandemic as an essential worker. She's not alone. She shares the exact same concerns as millions of Americans and businesses right now that are reeling from the impacts of Biden's socialism. The pantry of Broward County, Florida, usually supplies meals to 500 families each month. But they weren't able to donate as many Thanksgiving turkeys this year because of skyrocketing prices. And there are other terrible stories in the news across my state every day. I heard about a single father of three in Clearwater, Florida, who lost his job due to COVID. And his new job, he's having to stretch each dollar as far as he can possibly go, as prices for meat, food, rent, everything goes up and up and up. I heard about a woman who delivers groceries in South Miami. She's seeing prices going up and is having to send pictures of empty shelves to her online customers to show grocery stores are out of so many products. She can hardly ever find any juice boxes for her own children. These are the stories of real Floridians, and I could keep going because Florida families and families all across our great country are struggling as Biden's inflation and supply chain crisis rages on. Now, most people, when they're in charge, they want to do something positive when a problem arises. When the families are struggling, leaders should want to solve a problem. What's shocking is that even as ships wait in docks, in ports, wait to dock in ports, and families are forced to count their pennies and sometimes even go without certain products, the Biden administration is doing absolutely nothing. Secretary Raimondo and Secretary Buttigieg would rather play TV commentator than actually travel to California and solve some of these problems facing our distributors. Instead of coming to the Senate Commerce Committee to testify about what actions they're actually taking, they'd rather stay silent. If they want to show up and do the job they sign up for, I heard there's an opening at CNN. Energy prices are up, and families who are simply trying to stay warm during the winter season are going to face higher bills, just as gas prices and food prices continue to climb. The American people are fed up with President Biden's utter lack of leadership. Time and time again, I've come to the floor to try to get some information about this crisis, but Senate Democrats have stood in the way. When it came down to demand notes from internal meetings the Biden administration held about the signs of inflation they were seeing, Democrats blocked it. When I walked down here to request a report about the factors causing energy prices to rise, Senate Democrats blocked it. When I came down here to pass bicameral, common-sense legislation that will alleviate the supply chain crisis facing our ports, Senate Democrats blocked it. Madam President, this isn't how Washington should be working. I came here to make Washington work for Florida families, but Democrats in this body are joining hands with the White House to institute policies that make life more difficult and more expensive. This isn't government for the people. This is big government that hurts the people. I yield the floor.
Madam President.
Senator from Indiana is recognized.